welcome to today's live chat. It's Alex from Growing Goodings, and today is a Q&A. I have some questions here, pulled together from Instagram, and I'm wearing a sleeping baby, so I figured I would wear her and she would sleep the whole time. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that this live stream has no audio issues. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and get started and hope everything goes well. Thanks for joining me. If you are joining me, go ahead and leave in the chat box. Tell me where you're checking in from. I would love to say hello. Again, YouTube, I'm still kind of figuring out, but I'd love to say hello. I saw last time that the chat feature popped up on my screen. So say hello if you're here joining me in the chat. Hi, hello from Indiana. All right, so I'm gonna get started on our Q&A today. I'm gonna answer about 10 questions. I had about 50 or 60 questions sent in, so I'm gonna just pull a couple that are frequently asked. So one person named Kelsey is asking how to fight being lazy when tired from work and ministry. She feels like home gets the last priority. And this is actually something that I can resonate a lot with because that is how I'm feeling right now, with feeling really busy and feeling like our home is being put on the last thing on my to-do list, and to me that's not okay in my life. So I was just talking to Matt today about possibly dropping some of the kids' ballet classes. Even though it would break their heart, it's much better if we have our home in order. So I did have a chat with our girls literally 10 minutes ago, and I was like, hey, our house is suffering because we're out of the house so much and our priorities are not in the right order. We really need to prioritize being home and taking care of our home first and getting school done, and then any extra time, those are the things that we can go out and do extra stuff. So I was just talking to Emberly about this, and Ava, and what do you do like in these moments? I think the thing is, like, I have to swallow some pride here because I really want my kids to go and enjoy extracurriculars because I didn't really get to do a lot of that stuff as a kid. And so I really want that for the girls. And I think in the season we're in right now, adding Claire, this is not the right season to be overwhelmed with out of the house activities. So swallowing some pride and then being like, okay, our home is our priority, school is our priority. I need to get those things in order first. So that would be my suggestion, is doing that. Pause 1 second. I just heard kids coming in the door. I'm back. Okay. They're all playing outside, but they come in for water and stuff, and I didn't want basically like a herd of children trampling through my room while I'm on a live chat. So that would be like my tip, is just, I think as like wives and mothers, and if you are a stay-at-home mom, like, we're being tasked with being keepers of our home, and letting our home kind of fall down in the priority list for me is a sign of that I'm not prioritizing things correctly. And so I'm going through that right now where we're adjusting to Claire. So I'm going to trim back our extra things on our schedule and reprioritize our home. So that would be my suggestion, even when you're tired from work or ministry and all of that. Like, you really have to look at like where the priority is. Someone asked, what are your must-haves for a new baby? I will say that my favorite thing is get a good carrier. As you can tell, Claire, 3 months old, I have several different carriers, and the carriers make all the difference. This is the Happy Baby Revolution, which I can't really show you all of it, but it's a structured carrier that has a waistband on it. I do have the ones without a waistband, but I just got this one from the company, so I wanted to give it another try. So definitely find a baby carrier that is a perfect fit for you, or get maybe one or two different ones. And that's all I personally think that you really need, that's like outside of the normal, like diapers and clothes and stuff. The next one, someone asked, I'm pregnant with my third and already feel stretched thin. How do you manage it all? Like I just said in the first question, I think it's about realizing like what priorities do we need to set for ourselves, and then kind of shifting things and knowing that like we won't always be in this season of like feeling stretched thin. I think that it's really amazing that God kind of like allows us as mothers to grow each time we have our child, and we're able to multitask better. We're able to handle things in different ways that we weren't able to do when we had one less kid or two less kids or three less kids and so forth like that. So like I was thinking about it the other day, and even this morning I shared about how when I had the boys, so we went from 4 kids to 6 kids, the pandemic had just hit and basically everything canceled, and it was a really good like start over, like clean slate kind of thing. And it was great because as the boys grew and like just aged and we got more of a rhythm on what like it was like to have 6 kids, we were able to add more extra things to our life. And so the stretched thin feeling wasn't really there over time, even though we still have the same amount of kids, because we just naturally adapt and find that rhythm that works for us. And so like I'm realizing that right now. And I think I knew it a little bit right before Claire was born, that like things are gonna have to take time to settle, and like I'm going to have to find a new rhythm. And we've definitely found new rhythms with Claire in the crew, but I think I'm still there where it's like we all have to adjust. Like everyone in our house has to adjust to like there's a baby, the baby nurses, like my home responsibilities, I could get them done with our busy schedule, the same ballet schedule prior to Claire. Now Claire's here. In my downtime that I was doing home chore stuff like laundry and dishes and all the things and cooking and cleaning, now most of that time is spent nursing Claire. And that's why you'll see me like, I'll baby wear while I'm trying to clean. But even then, it's like there's only so much things that you can do cleaning and baby wearing at the same time. Like there's a lot of like bracing the head and bending over and all these things, right? So my advice to you, if you are expecting a baby and you're feeling stretched thin, I would say give yourself some grace, give it some time, because the Lord is really gracious to us, and I think he like sanctifies us in different ways to make us better, more capable mothers as we add children. So I'm definitely a lot better at multitasking and staying focused on things now with 7 kids than I was with 2 kids. Does that make sense? So I would say just give yourself some grace on there. If you're popping in here, yep, say hello. I see someone coming in from Ontario, Canada. Must be cold up there. Hi. Okay, the next question. Oh, look, I got all of those questions done. Well, I didn't get them all done, but I circled the ones that I wanted to answer. The next one, kind of on the topic of like home tasks and cleaning. This person asks, what do you do when your kids don't want to help in household, I'm guessing household chores? Any tips? I make them to a certain extent. So we kind of follow like I take into consideration what developmental stage they're at in childhood. So, and like what order of kids they're in. So like Emberly at 2 was very different than like the boys that are 2. Just because one, the one-on-one of me teaching Emberly how to do things. Like I remember sitting and teaching Emberly how to fold clothes at 2, but it was only her and I and Matt at 2. And so it's a lot different to be teaching those things at 2 versus the boys who are also 2, but it's a lot more chaotic, right? So there's a bit of a difference there. So I take into account like developmentally where they're at. Typically I say by 2 is when they start wanting to help kind of on their own terms, and they like to help on like mini things. So like the boys really love helping put laundry away, but only certain laundry. Like they can do dish towels, they can do like washcloths that go in the bathroom, and they can do their clothes. They like to grab the girls' dresses and help bring it to the girls' room, but again, they can't put that away. The boys can put their own clothes in their drawers and put the dish towels and washcloths away. So there's that. Other than that, like the 2-year-olds, I have very low expectations. And like if they're being moody and we're putting laundry away and I'm like, do you want to put this dish towel away? And they say no, I just say, okay, go play. It's not worth the fight to me. By 4 is kind of when I know that developmentally they're able to follow multi-step directions. And so 4-year-olds will help put a lot more laundry away, but sometimes they need a little assistance. They can also help wipe down tables and the benches. And even you saw the other day on Instagram, if you were there, that Heidi really wants to learn how to sweep the floor. And so Ava is trying to teach her how to sweep the floor. I also know that by 4, although they like to help a little more willingly, developmentally, they still need the accountability and supervision of completing a task. Hannah and Heidi cannot be sent to the playroom to tidy it up and not have someone check in on them because they're 4. They still get distracted. They still will stop and start playing if nobody is coming in and checking in with them. So still at 4, my expectation is they can follow simple, like a few multi-step directions, but they need a lot of accountability. They need somebody supervising to be like, okay, now you're putting the blocks away in the playroom. Great, now you're picking up the magnet tiles. I can't just say, go into the playroom. And then by 6, like Ava is a lot better. She can do almost everything independently, right? She knows how to put laundry away. She knows that she can get a stool to hang up dresses. Like she knows how to do those things, but she's only 6. So developmentally, like her skill and precision is not as fine-tuned. So she does need some like checking in and double checking her work, which is something we work on. And then our oldest, Emberly, is 10, almost 11. And obviously she is much more refined in her helping in the household. She knows how to wash the dishes. She can load the dishes. She doesn't really need supervision doing something, but she's still only 10, almost 11. She's not an adult, so she definitely has to be reminded to like do her best quality work when we're doing something. Like we've gone through that for dishes. If you're carelessly rinsing the dishes and you don't get big hunks of food off or something, the dishes don't always clean as well coming out of the dishwasher. So like she's only 10, so developmentally I know that like it's not like she could 100% do something completely on her own, but I can trust her not to set the house on fire or flood the bathroom if I asked her to do something in those capacities. So what do I do when nobody wants to do that? I look at the kind of 2 ways. One, are they hungry, tired, thirsty, or do they need to play? If it's one of those things, I fulfill those things and kind of send them out. And then I let them know like, okay, we're gonna play or we're gonna eat or do this, and then we're gonna get to our household stuff. Or if I know that all those needs are met, that I'm like, you'll be fine, get a sip of water, and we're gonna continue. And they do. So that's my long-winded answer on like cleaning up. I really think it depends on like developmentally where the kid is at, and then like us as the parents, me as the parent, to kind of meet them where they're at and scaffold for them. Okay. on the whole topic of cleaning, someone did ask, do we clean a room a day or a task each day? And I know a ton of moms with many children that have a really, really cool cleaning system. I am not there yet. I don't have a really cool cleaning system yet. I'm trying some different stuff, but again, in my season, I just don't have one. Right now, I mop the floors once a week with our steam mop. We sweep and vacuum the floors basically every day, wipe the counters down every day. We do laundry every single day. That is something that I have learned, is that in my large family, it's best to do a load or two laundry a day, and so that we don't get behind. I would say every like week and a half, I'm like, oh yes, I need to clean the toilets. And I get that done. I tried printing out a schedule, but it's just not where I'm at right now. I know there's tons of cleaning people that are really good at this stuff. If you do have a suggestion, you do have like somebody that has like some sort of method that's really amazing, please let me know in the comments, because I will check it out, because I still am trying to see what will work for us. Okay, someone also asked how Claire is feeling. She is a lot better. She had that really runny nose and was really lethargic on like Monday, Tuesday, maybe Wednesday was it? And she seems much better now. No runny nose, no little cough, like seems all better. And I'm praising the Lord for that, because I've been really nervous with a brand new baby in the winter season, because I've never had a winter baby. And so I've never had to deal with like the RSV season with a newborn. And God has really protected us, that we've had like tiny little sicknesses in the kids, like runny noses or something. Some of the kids like had a fever one day in the last 3 months or something, but it passed through the house really quickly. I have not gotten really sick, besides maybe a runny nose here or there. So we're really grateful for that. I know a lot of you have prayed for me in that, because it has been something I've been very fearful with a rainbow baby. So I thank you for your prayers for that, because they've been working. God has blessed us with a relatively healthy household so far this winter. Okay, and the last one I'm gonna do is kind of a quick overview. Somebody did ask about head covering. So I do head cover. You can read about it in the Bible in 1 Corinthians chapter 11. If you aren't on my Instagram, you can head to my Instagram, and there's a little tab that looks like a book or a brochure. If you click on that, you can scroll all the way down to a head covering series, and you can read all my verse by verse stuff I've written about head covering that I wrote when I very, very first started head covering, and my understanding. And so I do plan on doing a video here on YouTube, kind of a more in-depth recap on head covering. But if you want the details, you can definitely go there on Instagram. Also, the other question that I get is, do I head cover at home when my husband's home? And yes, I choose to head cover throughout the day, because it's about one, like submitting yourself to God's authority, and that there's that, and so it's a symbol for me for that. And then also, you're supposed to wear it when you pray and prophesy, and so I have always found that it's much easier for me to wear head covering throughout the day, so that when I need to pray, I do pray, and I don't feel hindered with my conviction to not pray. So yes, I wear my head covering all day, even when Matt is home. I wear it. And then the other question on head covering I've gotten in that little question box was if my girls head cover. My girls have a choice on head covering. They typically head cover on Sundays. That is typically what they do. They choose to head cover sometimes during the week, sometimes they don't. They're very young. None of our kids have been that have had a profession of faith yet, and it's definitely not something that we are pushing, because I really feel strongly that it should definitely be something that they believe and like they are really led to, like their profession of faith. So our girls like have not and our boys, obviously, there too. But our girls have not given us a profession of faith or anything. Even Emberly, that I'm like so curious half the time. I'm like, I wonder like where she's at, because we have like theological discussions and stuff, but I'm trying not to be like, hey, like, do you want to get baptized? Do you believe in God? Do you believe in Jesus, that he died for you? Just because I'm trying to like, I want the Holy Spirit to convict her of having that strong belief. And so I don't want to, you know how like you can like, sometimes you're talking to, you see like a parent or like somebody talking to a kid and they're asking questions, but they're asking questions in a way that kind of wants the kid that they're asking to kind of lead into the type of answer they want. If you know what I'm talking about, that's what I don't want to do. So yes, I want to raise our kids in like with a biblical worldview and to know God, and we pray for that for them, but I don't want to lead them into the answer so that they think they just have to do it to fit in like at church or something. So with that, that is the end of the Q&A, because it's already been 21 minutes and that is a really long time for the Q&A. You might hear my kids, they're right outside my bedroom door onto our patio, riding a scooter, holding a baby toy. So thank you for tuning in. I will have this live saved and I'll post it over on Instagram. If you do have any other questions, I'll probably do one of these Q&A lives here on YouTube once a month, just so that we can get some things documented. I can be like, oh yeah, I answered that in this live video. So good talking to you guys. I hope you have a great weekend, and God bless.